Let's take a walk through some business services here. We'll see on this dashboard that there's a listing of about 15 or so business services, and I'm going to select the financial tech or the FinTech business service from this list that you see here. All of the services listed are showing availability, health, and risk for the service, and we can drill down from a service into the behavioral correlation screen where we can see the history across time for the previous 24 hours of risk, health, and availability for the business service and all of the components inside of that service. You'll also see that we can select a view of all of the events active on only those devices and sub-services in this business service. From this screen, if we find a device that is having a problem of some sort, we can filter in on that device, and we have available at our fingertips, for instance on this MQ server, certain up-to-date information relating to the vital statistics, CPU, memory, swap. We can see active alerts and log messages, active events on the device, and we also have a selection of tools that we can run if we are the operator. For instance, on this device, if we wanted to run a tool, for instance, to show, since this is a CPU utilization violation message that has come through, the operator might choose to run a command automatically against that device that accesses the device using SSH or PowerShell, depending upon the operating system in question, and retrieve from the device on demand the top processes and that are consuming CPU, memory, and so forth. So you'll see here that we've retrieved the most recent consumers of CPU on this device by SSHing into this Linux server and simply running the top command. So it's very simple for operators to gather information as necessary in order to react to workflows. Now we can also drill, instead of into the behavioral correlation screen, we can drill directly into a purpose-built dashboard specifically tailored just for this business service, and that's what we're looking at here. So you can see a diagram showing us the FinTech health, a listing of all of the compute nodes in this example here, showing CPU, memory, and swap, a listing of the sub-services in this business service showing their availability and health, and then also any active events for this business service that we've configured. I've got this sorted by the criticality, of course, of the events, but you can also see that we're deduplicating events occurring thousands of times, and we'll show how long these events have been active. And these cover the gamut of the different devices that are inside of this business service. You'll see here the Sunburst widget that allows us to drill into different subsets of the business service. In this case, I've got 6 different subservices because this service is also using some shared services. So you can see here we're looking at 3 different devices inside of the telepresence components for my CRM app. Or I might drill into database servers or compute nodes, in this case storage devices, and it's an interactive display that allows me to look at a number of different options in here, depending upon what I've included as my subservices in here. Now, as you see, I can also drill into the subservices. In this case, I'm drilling into my web front ends, and I've got 2 devices in there. They don't have any active events right now, but it's a convenient way of drilling down into those subservices. Here I'm looking at a couple of different telepresence devices. And next, we can see here that we're looking also at the availability and the health. Specifically, I've got a couple of my subservices that are in a major health condition right now. So if I take a look at one of those, for instance, my middleware components of my compute side of the house, then we can see that I've got one server in here, MQ01. And if we look at the policy, what is it that's actually powering this? Well, for availability, Basically, I'm saying that, look, if the device is down hard, or if in this case the Nginx service is detected not to be running, as indicated by an event that fires on here, then I want that service to show as unavailable. So it's all configurable, and you can tailor this to your particular needs. Here, if we look at that service, then we'll see indeed we have that server showing up. He's got a CPU violation. And again, as we looked at, we have a number of operator tasks that we can use in order to perform some real-time diagnostics. We can also drill into the device in order to get a better view of the underlying performance characteristics. Here I'm looking at CPU, memory, swap utilization. We can look at device availability, network latency. So there are a number of different options that we have available to us from the KPIs that are being collected against the device. And the user can select from any of the KPIs and add those to the graph in the device investigator as necessary. In this case, we're also collecting some of the server configuration information. So you'll see data in here relating to route tables and system configuration as retrieved in this case by SSH. Could also be VMware or PowerShell for Windows machines. We'll show active events on this device. We'll show, in this case, this is a Linux server. So let's take a look at the processes running on this Linux server. And you'll see that all the way over on the right-hand side, most of these have the word no next to them, meaning that we're not monitoring those services specifically. But in this case, I put a monitoring policy on our syslog-d, which is my syslog daemon, and you'll see that it says yes next to it here. And that means that we're monitoring this process every 5 minutes in order to ensure that if for some reason it's not running, it's going to let us know. And that's going to be linked to the health of the overall business service.